Holy crap, guys. I am so excited. I'm starting the foundation today. The plan is to excavate as much of the foundation as possible today. And I have 3 days off in a row, so I'm going to do as much of the foundation I can. If I get done with that, I'm going to start trenching for the power. If I get done with that, then we move on to the septic system, and if I get done with that, we move on to the pond. Okay, so I kind of lucked out in getting this excavator. I rented it from Home Depot because they ended up being the cheapest price in town. They had originally told me that it was broken and they had no ETA for when it would be fixed, and I continued to call them and they continued to say the same thing. So my options were to rent from somewhere else, which would have been like $600 more, or drive to the next closest city, which is like an hour and a half away. Instead of doing either of those things, I decided to just show up the morning when we needed it. When I did this, they rented me the excavator that they had told me was broken. They also let me tow it with my half-ton pickup truck, even though they say they require a 3/4-ton pickup truck to tow it. So I really lucked out in getting the one I wanted. There's the first giant rock of the dig. Let me just give you a little perspective. I don't know if you can see that. That's fucking huge. I'm about an hour and a half into it. It is going pretty well. What I'm gonna do now is I was just digging to try to get a handle on it, see how it was gonna go. I'm gonna do the entire perimeter first, pretty much, except for the bottom. And then after the perimeter's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in back in here and knock all this stuff in the middle down. That way the crawl space isn't like only 6 inches high and you can actually get into it. But right now I'm going to go get the laser level set up because I'm getting pretty deep, so I need to know how deep I actually have to dig. So I'm going to try to set it up as out of the way as possible, which I think under this tree will be good, and in the shade. That it's not baking in the heat. So the idea is to put it at the lowest point of the house, see where it's level, and then I'll set the level at 30 inches past that, and then they'll tell me how far I have to dig. I'm also going to check to see how much slope there actually is too. It's at 3 foot 1 inch at the bottom. Let's go see what it is at the top, and then I'll do that. So we know 3 foot 1 inch, just under 1 inch for the bottom. Three foot 1 inch difference at the bottom, 2 foot 1 inch at the top, which means it's a foot. So if I have to go 30 inches into the ground, 2.5 feet into the ground, and I come up 4 feet, so I'll have a 1.5 feet sticking out of the ground at the bottom, and a foot sticking out of the ground, or half a foot sticking out of the ground at the top, which is okay for me. So let's get back to digging. giant pile of rock. But as you can see, you can't really tell, but I'm almost completely finished with the entire first row, or first side. It would be the south side. I've got about another 10 feet to go, and then I need to go back to the other side. There's a giant rock I need to try and dig out. So I'm doing good. When Chelsea gets here, she's at work right now. When she gets here, I'll have her hop in the trench with a rake, give her this thing, and have her smooth it all out so that's not super bumpy in places. Day one went really well, honestly. I got a lot done, which is great because I would have been happy if I got the foundation dug in a week. So all I need to do for day two is clean up a little bit of the hole, strip the center section, and then finish that last side. I don't think that was me, but that looks pretty jacked up. Hopefully it's not sloped a real lot. So it's at 3 foot 1 inch. Oh, I'm not talking to you. Oh, there's a hole. There's a hole. There's a hole. There's a hole.